money out of. But what people don't realize is that you have to keep putting money back in to have that fund there. And if we keep drawing money out, then there's not going to be anything. And if you have an emergency, then you're not going to have the money there to go buy a new ambulance if you have to have one or whatever. But that fund doesn't just come from nowhere. You've got to be able to put money back in. And on years that we're having in a down economy where we don't have the ability to start stashing money back into it, and you keep pulling money out of it, then you've got a problem.
At least right now, like Ms. Snyder had mentioned, with the cuts that we made and the budget that we have, at least we're giving the new council a stepping stone to start with. If they really want to revisit it, look at it in depth, go over it, modify it, they have 1 month to do it, amend it, and have the finance department craft a new resolution. So we at least get a start for them. So.
Bruce, you want to say something?
I was in my PJs ready to watch Monday Night Football.
Who's winning?
The one thing that I observed, and Mr. Brammer made 3 motions to take Parks budget out, capital budget, which I thought was unusual. Generally, 1 suffices, doesn't it, Mr. Brammer?
Normally.
Thank you. No. And the problem I have with it is that we've never had a chance to address what these needs are. Same with the Cemetery Commission. I'm not here on behalf of the Cemetery Commission, but I don't know if their mower blew up. Do y'all? We have no idea. So I don't think either of the commissions have ever had an opportunity to address what our needs are. But speaking for Parks, I'd like to think that the capital improvements that we do help the city revenue. Some of the things that we have on our plate next year is to have a dog park, which I think will be good for our own residents plus our visitors. We need some access. We have problems getting into that dog park. We have rock walls that are falling down. I think for $10,000, I don't think that's asking a whole lot to get all those things done. The $5,000 in surveillance equipment. Ready? The $5,000 in surveillance equipment is because of the thousands of dollars that the city loses in plants and vandalism. The Rotary Club has, I seem to have lost someone's attention. Mr. Brammer?
Yes, sir.
When the Rotary Club is investing over $10,000 in partnership with us on the East Mountain Lookout with a copper roof, I don't think it's too much to ask to put a $2,500 surveillance system in to watch that facility. It's going to be repainted, sanded, and completely brought back to its original state. At Magnetic Springs, we have an enormous amount of vandalism. We had rocks stolen at Magnetic Springs as fast as they could lay them up. People were coming by and stealing them. This is an opportunity for the city to take care of that problem. This is the only opportunity I've had to address you about our capital budget. In 2002, when we first started to have our tax, we told the council then that regardless of the quarter-cent sales tax that we had, that was not going to be enough to continue our capital projects. And our capital has gone down along with the revenue of the city, and we understand that. But we don't ask much, and we think that we do a lot with it. So to just dismiss it out of hand without having us have an opportunity to explain it to the council in some type of workshop setting, I think is just hideous. Secondly, the land bank. The council has already approved money for the land bank. It needs to go in there because the parks and the city have lands available. There's lands that we should purchase, that we need. And this was a stepping stone towards getting an amount of money to have it. if that line item is created, then y'all need to put that in there.
They have to vote to do that. That's
Sure.
the problem.
So we're voting to get rid of Parks Capital. We might as well vote to put money into the land bank. I mean, y'all can seem to vote whatever you want to right now.
Mr. Bremer?
Is the land bank a capital expenditure or is it a general? So we could actually, as Ms. Blankenship said, since I mean we approved. What are we at?
You all
10?
never did approve to establish the land bank as a cooperative group.
Well, we
You
approved
approved it on the budget.
and then we approved it a second year in a row, and then it was.
You
I
put
think-
a line item in it, but there was never a vote at the table to actually set it up. All you did was put a line item on the budget.
But the second time we approved it, it was basically we were approving 5,000 each year, so we would have been at 10,000.
There was never a vote on that.
Thought we had actually approved it for the second. Not to actually. Maybe we neglected to put the money in there. But
You
the
need to
second
do
time we
that.
approved it, since we're and Mr. Levine, I did not actually. Was not the one that actually voted to get rid of the in-town trails because it was contingent on a grant anyway. My thing was to cut capital expenditures for your infrastructure. Now, is your infrastructure the same as your land bank?
No.
Okay. I have no problem actually allocating the $10,000 difference into the land bank because we, in 2 years in a row, we approved the concept of the land bank. This is the only time that we actually can go ahead and make the motion to actually line item it and put it in there for capital expenditures before we read the resolution.
This is next year. We already did it for
I
this
think you
year.
actually voted not to give us $5,000 again for the land bank. What we're asking for is the original $5,000, which was to be paid back by the selling of city property in the future, and then any proceeds from the sale of unopened streets would go into that account. But you specifically voted against putting another $5,000 in it.
Ms. Schneider?
Bruce, I don't know about the others, but I voted against your thing because you do need to bring it forward. But it wouldn't be bringing it forward to us, it would be bringing it forward to the new council. Explain to them why you need the money, why it's so important. I have no problem at all giving you that money, but that's something you do need to bring your proposal to them rather than us having a paper that shoves this in there. That's why I wanted to not do that tonight.
I understand that. It's just so much more difficult to add than it is to subtract. And you could, if you went by that theory, then you would also say, well, why don't we cut the police department and fire 10%, and across the board everybody 10%, and let the new council put it back.
Oh, no, see, I'm only...
I know, but I'm
personally
just saying
feeling
it's the same
like,
school
like
of
on
thought.
this news stuff on the cemetery, they need to put it forth to the council.
I agree.
And explain why they need a new mower, okay? That's why I was saying no. Because they need to give a proposal.
But again, my same school of thought is I think every department needs to come to the council and say, well, we really do need this. And you all, by that theory, said, well, we're just going to knock 10% off and then let the new council decide if you want more. That's my way of looking at it. And it's so much more difficult to come in and say, well, we really need this, than for the council to come to us and say, do you really need this? That's my feeling.
Morris?
Is this land bank, is that a line item in his budget?
No. It's in our budget.
Okay. So it's been set forth by ordinance that this land bank be in place.
By motion.
So you can't put money in something you don't have a line item.
No direction on the land bank.
Yeah, it needs to be addressed now.
Which that can be done after January the 1st. You can take that it needs to be done.
It can't be done after January 1st because it's in the 2010 budget. It's in the budget under the capital. It's been approved. Okay, it was never, the land bank is for the city. It's not a parks thing, it's a city thing. So last year in 2009, $5,000 was put in general capital and approved, but nobody took it out because there's not somebody in charge of land bank, so it went away. So in 2010, when we put